Hey, everybody. Welcome to Business Insights. And I'm super excited this week because I'm going to share with you how someone who is an absolute expert in her craft, how she's utilized marketing and has created some amazing events locally. And she's going to share with you a paint by numbers system and how you can do the exact same thing in your marketplace. But first, before we start there, I'm going to cue that intro. Welcome to Business Insights with Matt Milia. I'm your host, Matt Milia, and in this podcast, we'll talk about the real, raw, uncut business success secrets you won't find anywhere else. Follow my journey from entry level to CEO. We discuss real actionable items you can plug into your business right away. To subscribe to our weekly top tips, you can go to www.mattpodcast.com and join our community of elite high-level performers. And if you're interested in our inside sales company, you can go to www.appointmentstoday.com to jump on a free strategy call. And now, stay tuned for our podcast. All right. What's going on, Andrea? How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I am doing great. So, hey, first and foremost, thank you for jumping on. I'm super excited for you to share really some of your takeaways and expertise and just about the great event that you just threw, which was the Rock and Rescue. For everyone who doesn't know what that is, you want to share with everybody what that is and what it's for?
Yeah, absolutely. I finally recovered from the event and all leading up to it, and from the night of. It was a great time. So every year we put on this big rock concert in the downtown Cleveland, and we just invite hundreds of people, whether they're in the real estate industry or not, to come get together with us at Club Forward. And we raise thousands and thousands of dollars for local and national charities that are fighting human trafficking. So I joined this organization a couple years ago. We weren't able to do it last year because of COVID, but the year before was my first year with the crew planning all of it. And I can't say enough great things about everything from start to finish. It takes a lot of work getting put into the event itself and planning everything and promoting the crap out of it to running the show the whole night. And I have such a big crew behind me, and leading it is just an awesome feeling. And then of course the reward of handing over those checks to the organizations. So we have our local organization here in Cleveland. Her name is Renee Jones. She owns Renee Jones Empowerment Center. She is out on the streets every night saving women from human trafficking because it's become such a big issue worldwide over the last few years. And our national organization is all actually real estate agents that have come together. They're called Agents Act. It's Agents Against Child Trafficking. And Nikki Gregory and her team have gone across the country to these places that people haven't even heard of or realized exist and where this is happening, and have been on the ground doing work to help these children. So just being able to put on such an awesome event with so many people and then hand over all of the money that we've raised for them is such a gratifying feeling. And I absolutely love being part of it from beginning to end.
It does make you feel good being a part of those organizations. I know we joined Agents Act, I want to say it was 2018, 2019. I know it was a couple of years back. I want to say it was like the end of 2018, but
Yeah.
It is really an amazing cause. And of course, for someone like yourself who is working in marketing and really getting that brand awareness out there, I mean, it's pretty amazing that you were able to throw this event, put it together. I remember seeing something in July. It was like a Facebook Live video, and I immediately was like, yep, went to the link, bought the tickets, because I knew right then and there, it's such a great event. It goes towards a great cause, and it was a blast.
Yeah.
But if you were to say, okay, I'm going to open up the playbook here from the very beginning, how do you go about, so first, how do you go about even lining up a venue? I mean, did you guys meet with the owners, or what? And I guess really for the owners, is it the fact that they're bringing in all those people, that traffic? Is that the value for them? Like, how does it all work?
Yeah, so our venue was actually Al had done this event before I was on board with a different organization, until we came across these new ones that we started benefiting. We still benefit the other organization year round, but we decided to change this event to benefit these ones and help their fight. And he had already had a partnership with this venue, but I think it's even gotten stronger. They've gone through some employee changes and management changes, and just continuously, year after year, they continue to hold up their end of the bargain. They give us proceeds from their bar sales. They accommodate everything that we need. They let us in the doors at 2 o'clock and basically let us do whatever we want until we leave. I think it's a lot of people are very surprised when we say that the bar gives us half of the bill basically to give back to the charities, because there's not very many restaurants or corporations that you're going to find that will do that. So that's definitely held our relationship strong. Not to mention, it's one of the coolest venues in Cleveland. We get a few months out of the year that we are able to be outside all of the time, and for all of the rock and rescues I have been to before I was even with the organization, it's been beautiful weather. And it's like, I don't know if it's fate or if it's just someone up there is looking over us and it's like, I know you guys have put a lot of work into this. I'm not going to ruin it for you. But it's an completely outdoor venue. And one of the coolest things I think is that when it gets cold in Cleveland, they package the whole venue up and put on a train and it goes somewhere else. So it's obviously an attractive venue to a lot of people, and a lot of people know that about Forward. And the fact that they allow us to do this actually after they are done being open for the year. So they plan to close right around Labor Day, and our event is typically afterwards or right around that time. And they are willing to let us have it for that day. And like I said, not only do that, but accommodate anything and everything that we need.
That's so awesome. And it's definitely divine intervention, because every time, and it's so funny because I've always thought about it, I said, what happens if it just pours rain
Right?
or, and it's so crazy to think, because I mean there really isn't a whole lot of covering there,
No.
and the covering would not have covered what was, I mean, the amount of people that were there last time. I mean, 900 plus people, which is pretty amazing, especially amidst all the things that are going on now. I think everybody was just happy to get out and really just give back, and it's a blast. I mean, it really is a blast. But you guys kept it local as well. I know it was something that we had talked about prior to jumping on. Do you think that also helped out as far as keeping the bands local?
I think so. We've had big name artists come before, and don't get me wrong, they're a great time and everyone loves to see them. But I think at the end of the day, especially with how tight knit Cleveland is, and we're benefiting a lot of local organizations, people are attracted to that, number one, because this is where we live. And so if we're giving back to our community, ultimately we're helping each other. And I think that people are attracted to the fact that we have a local and a national organization, so they can sort of somewhat feel related to one of the two. Because we did have people from a lot of different states. I know we had Michigan in the house, we had Texas. I think we may have had someone from Canada. We had quite a few different people representing in all parts of Ohio, but keeping it local with the bands too. Like I said, we have had big name artists, but with big name artists comes big tickets. So it's always better just keep it local. They are less expensive, of course. So that let us give a huge chunk more to the organization. We had, like you said, almost 1,000 ticket sales this year, which just blew me out of the water. I'm the first to panic about an event if we don't have 1 million ticket sales in the first day. But Al always tells me it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And it sure did. I think I believe the Monday or Tuesday of the event, we had 400 ticket sales. And I was still panicking. I'm like, that's nothing. And then by Thursday showtime, we had almost 1,000 ticket sales. So it was awesome. And I think people were attracted to that. So with the ticket sales and the sponsors and all the money people spent that night, we were able to triple the amount that we gave the organizations from years past.
That's crazy. So, and I mean, I know that we had Florida there. You had someone in Maryland. Florida
Oh, yeah, I
now, of
forgot about
course.
my Florida
But
people. Sorry.
right, right. No, but I mean, but you had Maryland, you had Texas. I mean, Michigan, Ohio. I mean, that event in itself, it does bring in a lot of really great people. It's for an amazing cause. Now, if someone wants to duplicate something like this in their marketplace, I'm going to ask you that one question that is probably in a lot of people's mind. How in the world do you get the capital for it? I mean, there's got to be a way to, I mean, because, obviously, of course, the venue,
Sure.
alcohol, food. How do they do that?
Yeah. So fortunately, we have the ability to kind of front a lot of the money, but it's really right off the bat, we don't have to spend that much money. The most of the money that gets spent before the event actually starts is the marketing materials, the posters, the things that we print our logos and our banners and everything on for the event. But one word is sponsors. Sponsorships are where it's at, and it will make or break, because not nobody wants to front all of this money and not expect it to return, or you don't want to front $10,000 and only be able to give the charity a certain amount of money. You have to
Right.
get those people, the sponsors, in place, and I'm a firm believer in that. In any event, a local event, a small training event, or a big event like this, the sponsors are what makes the whole event happen, because not only are they giving you a check for whether it's $1,000 or $5,000, that's contributing. And that's one of the lessons that we've learned from years past, is that we have to have more sponsorship opportunity, because when you limit your sponsorship opportunity, that's where you're capping the amount of money that you're going to make. So this year I sat down and I was like, we need to make everything a sponsorship. And we came up with about, I think, 25, if not more, $1,000 just in sponsorship money than years past.
It's awesome.
And it's small sponsorships. It could be 500, it could be $1,000, but then you have those bigger sponsorships that are willing to spend a little bit more. But if you have a lot of little ones, it's fine if you have less big ones, because they are all adding up. And at the end of the day, a lot of our money came from that. So then we gave those sponsors a lot of tickets to get people there. But once then the people got in for free, they spent money at the bar. They spent 50-50 money. They bought tickets for all of that. So
Yep.
it ended up working. People probably paid more at the bar, of course, and in buying 50-50 tickets than they would have buying a ticket to the show.
I laugh because I'm pretty sure I spent at least 300, maybe 350 there. Because I mean, of course, you get there and you're like, "Oh, I'm so happy you guys are here. Let me buy you some shots." You buy her, 7 or 8 shots. Then you do that again. Then you see, "Oh, there's 50-50 raffles. I'll throw in $20, $40, $50."
Yeah.
And it continues to go around. And that's amazing that, going back to what you said earlier with the bar willing to give, I mean, that's unheard of. Like, that does not happen,
Right.
where they're just going to say, "Oh yeah, we'll give you half of what gets pulled in from the bar," because usually that's their profit. That's just awesome. So it's really, I mean, go ahead.
That's another thing with Forward. Like, a lot of times you're afraid. I mean, we know that servers and waitresses, they depend on tips. So it's like, to ask them to do too much, they may not be willing to do that. And those girls were nothing short of absolutely amazing. We had another lesson learned from years past, is that we can't do it all ourselves. Like, I run around trying to, like, reel people in and make sure everything is going smoothly enough. I can't be worrying about people selling 50-50 tickets or checking people in. And Forward completely stepped it up, and they got people to check people in, of course, the bartenders to serve bottle service, and to sell 50-50 tickets. And I couldn't be more thankful. It went completely seamless with all of that. And like you said, with the 50-50, we announce it throughout the night and we get people to spend $20. But then when we do the last call, there was a line forming at the stage for people to buy more 50-50 tickets. And at the end of the day, the person who won it gave it back to the charity. And that's what it's all about. mean, if you don't plan to walk away with thousands and thousands of dollars, maybe take what you spent back, and then he gave it the rest to the charity. And it's people like that that we want at our events and who we're surrounded by. And it's really awesome that we get to do that all. It's such an awesome event. It's so much different than a lot of other charity events. So I think
Oh yeah.
that's it apart too.
Well, and normally people only give back like half. I mean, and again, it's just like that standard thing. If you win, you're like, okay, I'm going to give you back half of what I won. But for someone to actually give that all back, that's amazing.
Right.
And not only that, and I remember, I want to take it back to. So I was a part of I think I was a part of the first one, which was 2015 or 2016. It's taking me back, but I remember, I remember how. I remember how chaotic it was. And even though we got it off the ground and it went off and things were good and we were able to give back, that really is amazing that Forward was able to help with that, because I remember we all had different jobs and roles that would say, okay, you're going to be checking people in from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And then someone they would forget, or they'd get thrown into a conversation that's like, where is this person at? Then the other person's kind of left there trying to pick up slack. So you guys really knocked it out of the water. I mean, I remember it was super organized. I came in, I'm like, wow, they actually you guys had like people scanning codes in the phone. There was no I remember the first time we never started counting tickets, and we're like, oh wait, there's this name, and they're like, this, I don't even know who this person is, and they're like, just let him in. So it's like,
and there's always learning. I mean, we learned stuff from this year that we'll fix for next year, and everything is always a learning process, and you learn different lessons and you figure out what you're going to do to make it better. But that was the biggest thing. Our initial meeting about the event, we had myself and then a couple others, of course, Al, and a couple other of our big sponsors that we knew were going to be a part of the event. We all got on a meeting weekly and we just nailed down everything that we first had to do. Okay, we got to confirm with the venue. We need to figure out what bands are going to play and just the big things. And then we got to get a little bit more detailed oriented every week that we went. So then we're like, okay, we need to work on sponsors. Well, I'll work on these people because I have a relationship, and we just put different things in place and put different responsibilities on certain people. And then of course the week of, you have 5,000 things that you think of that you haven't been thinking of, but it all got ironed out. I can't thank the people that were with me, Al and Allison. I mean, we worked so well together and just got everything in place that I think that year after year, it's going to continue to be more organized and raise more money every year.
I love it. So, I mean, you guys raised into the thousands. I know you didn't. Yes. I know you didn't have the number, which is okay, totally.
Right. We haven't been. We're still kind of counting our credits and debts and credits, but we don't have the exact number, but I'm sure we'll have it soon. But it is in the thousands, tens of thousands.
That's all. That's even more. That's amazing. Well, so for everyone that's watching, and there's some things that I want to make sure that I communicate that would probably be best coming from you, as far as the marketing side goes for this. And this is more of I'm curious, I'm sure some other people, because you guys got those ticket sales quick. And I remember I saw the live video, and of course, I think I messaged 100 and Facebook actually stopped me from messaging people because I started literally copying and pasting. I go, hey, this is the event. Go here, click this link. It's going to be awesome. And then of course Facebook was like, oh, you can't keep messaging, because I think they thought it was a bot, because I just kept going. I'm like, because I had so much fun it was 2019, I believe, was the last one. And I had a blast. And I was just thinking, you know what? It'd be great to be able to, for me, especially coming from out of town, be able to see all my friends, be able to see, of course, everyone in the industry, and be able to see friends. I was like, this is just perfect. But from the marketing standpoint, was it really more of did you run ads or have to do anything like that to get it out in front of people, or boost posts, or what was the?
All of the above. I have a whole marketing plan for all of my events, whether it's a little local event or a training boot camp that I do in different states, or for an event like this. I have a full plan on a Trello board that is from A to Z and exactly how to do it. And different, they have email templates, text templates, Facebook ads, and I've kind of duplicated the Facebook ad this year. So I always do from 2019, I always do like a sizzle promo video. So we just create that. I include all of the sponsors in that, and then I boost it to a certain audience. And I think for the 2.5 weeks that it was posted, we had like 19,000 views or something insane on it. Like it was just
awesome.
Turned out incredible. I kind of nailed down that audience for this certain video. And then, of course, we have all of our agent lists that we email and we invite, and we do just like you did Facebook Messenger, because you have that certain relationship with different people. If I message you and say, hey, like I'm going through my friends list, I would love for you to come to this event, I have some extra tickets available. Then they're more likely than if they just see a Facebook ad, if you have a relationship with someone and they know that you're involved in this event. In addition, we do a lot of our past clients. We like to use it almost as a past client event and say, hey, please join me at this event. I have some free tickets, or I bought a bunch of tickets. We always say we bought them so that they're more likely to show up, because we've seen trends that if people know they're getting a free ticket, they're less likely to show up, which still always happens, but they're more committed and they feel a little bit more accountable, I think, to show up. So it's a little bit of everything. We worked at it weekly, different emails, text messages, Facebook posts, boosting, staying in front of the people, and then of course getting our sponsors involved. And like I've said, the sponsors, not only did they write us a check for certain things, but then they were given all those tickets and they got an insane amount of people there. I think one of our sponsors got like 150 people to use her promo code this year. And it was just, we had a little bit of a competition between our sponsors, because last year, one of them had 75 and she blew her out of the water this year. So it's just awesome to see that everyone comes together and supports it. And so there's a little bit of everything, and it takes a team to do it. I don't think one person can get I don't say I got 1,000 people at this event, because I know it's a group effort between the marketing efforts and the whole team putting in an effort to get people there.
It's a lot. It's a lot for even 2 or 3 people to do. So but it's so well worth it, because when you think about it, not only you're bringing a community of individuals together who are normally quote unquote competitors in the real estate market, but it's not even just that. You got vendors there that are from different areas. I actually met a guy that does roofing there, and he's like, hey, I might, want to talk to you about marketing. I'm like, oh, okay. So, and I wasn't even expecting that. And I wasn't even promoting anything. My wife was just in a conversation with him. So it's great for networking, but there's also a goodwill element that I believe gets infused into the marketplace, because selling real estate, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of challenges to it. There's a lot of, but it really is a similar process when you break it all down. You have similar goals. But if they can look at you and say, hey, you are the person that threw this amazing event, you're giving back to charity, it's more of a reflection that you're a good person and you're someone that they should do business with. Would you agree that that's also a big helpful part of expansion and other markets?
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I saw the same roofing guy probably that you were talking about. I invited him, and then also another person invited him. So I was very glad that he was there. But it is so cool to see that, because you do get so many different, whether they're in the industry and that you just have never had that conversation with them, or if they were invited by somebody else. I remember 2 years ago, I ran into a kid I went to high school with, and I didn't know why he was there. And he happened to work for one of the lenders, which I had no idea that he was even in the industry. And then some kid I would see tailgating was there. I was like, what are you doing here? So it's just so cool.
Right.
Like, you are so right. The real estate community, I feel like, gives back so much and loves doing these charity things, that it's almost like you just have that connection with people, especially if you sponsor each other's events, or if you come to each other's events, that like you're a good person, I'm a good person. Like, it's
right.
not saying anything about anyone who doesn't, but you're there supporting each other because, like, quote unquote, we're competitors, but we're the, if you know who you are and where you are, the real estate community is so more so friends than we are competitors because we're all up there.
Yeah.
There's enough houses to go around for all of us to sell.
It's true. Well, there is a shortage of inventory this year, but in most years there's more than enough. Yeah, there's more than enough in most years. But the craziest thing, I didn't even have a chance to tell you this, but the craziest thing was so my cousin, he not Nick, another one of my cousins also lives down here. He lives about 40 minutes from us. He moved about a month before we moved, and he has an insurance company. And we were having I think it was our housewarming party, and we invited him, and he's like, "Hey, can I bring a friend?" Yeah, no problem. So he brings a friend of his that he had met. This guy does insurance in Oklahoma. Oklahoma was another state that was there. This guy came to our housewarming party, really cool. We hung out with him a couple of times, and he's just busy and didn't have a chance to always get together, so not a big deal. We're like, okay, we're going back to Cleveland. He was there. I'm like,
gosh.
why are you? What? I'm like, wait a minute. Let me rephrase that. Not why are you here? What are you doing here? What what in the world? It's like, oh, I saw it on your wall, and I actually followed Ryan back up to Cleveland because I was going to help him opening up an office. I figured I might as well stop. So I mean, it's crazy.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's crazy how
Right.
it circulates like that.
Right.
But,
small world.
well, so Andrea, for everyone that's tuning in, we hit on all the key points. Of course, for anybody that wants to do more research, look into it. It's RNR CLE. You could find it really easily on Facebook, and of course, we'll put that in the comments as well. But it's RNR CLE, and then also, in addition to that, is there anything that we didn't discuss that you feel is important for anybody that wants to do an event like this in their town?
I mean, we talked about all the sponsorship opportunities. That's number one, and that goes for any event. I think is one of the biggest things to get funds. The organization of having your marketing calendar and all of your templates and everything that you want planned out so that you're not day to day like, oh, like I need more butts and seats, so I'm going to send a quick email. Like it needs to be organized and it needs to be thought out. So we touched on that a little bit, and then just having the right people in place, like I said. So we did kind of touch on quite a bit. And then just having someone there for you the night of also. Like I found that with my boot camps, my local events, like I put on this whole show. I shouldn't be the one at the door checking people in. And just having that kind of go to and creating those relationships with different people. It could have been a sponsor saying, hey, you sponsored, we need your help with this. Or it could be someone from one of the organizations or anybody, just having those right people in places. And then just honestly being able to keep up with the chaos, because that is it all night. If someone's like, where's Al? We got to do the 50-50. I'm running around that venue trying to find Al. Or we got to count the money. Okay, rally the troops because we've all had a couple drinks. We need multiple people to count this money. And we have Venmo, PayPal, and cash that we're dealing with. So,
Right.
And that was another thing that we learned from years prior. We've done giveaways before, or 2 years ago, we did a giveaway, and it didn't work. People weren't into it, and the only way you could pay was cash, or like we had credit card machines, but they weren't really working. So thankfully with technology, we were able to just get QR codes with PayPal, Venmo, or cash, and it totally worked for everything. And then just kind of having a plan of action. Like we always have an agenda in our back pockets of how the night's going to go, and then reminders on our phones, like time to do a shout out or time to switch speakers, whatever it might be. It's just really being able to work in an organized chaos. So,
but you guys made the chaos look very extremely organized. So, because like I said, being on that inside, seeing it from the first year, and it's funny that you said you got people that are drinking and they kind of go off and they're like, oh, I got to coordinate and get people to get their minds in the right spot. So I get it 100%. But it was a blast. You guys did an amazing job. And especially, I mean, if you've raised even more than you did in the past. I mean, you guys had some amazing events in the past that you raised so much for. So, seriously, thank you for throwing
Absolutely.
such an amazing event.
Yeah,
And
cool.
yeah, for everyone that's watching, they can get a hold of you as well. If I can,
Yeah, I
can't,
was gonna
can they
say,
email?
yeah, and an email or my calendar is totally fine. I jump on a call almost weekly talking about my whole event process. So I'm happy to share with anyone kind of what we do and how we do it.
You have a weekly call for that?
It's
That's
not like a group, but a lot of people I work with, John and Joel and everyone, they put people in my calendar all the time. They're like, you need to talk to Andrea about this. Because with COVID now hopefully ending, but people are at least more comfortable getting back out and around each other. Real estate
right.
agents are very sociable, whether it's a charity event or a training event. We want to be together. So,
Oh yeah.
and people are, whether it's a training or trying to recruit, whatever the end goal might be, or obviously raising money in this instance, people, a lot of agents worldwide are wanting to do that right now. So, but a lot of people haven't quite figured out how to do it. And that's what my whole background before real estate has been. It's kind of been event promotion, event planning, execution. So it was kind of exciting to me once I got on this board the first year I did it, because I went from doing a lot of that on top of marketing also to not a whole lot of event planning. And then when Al was like, all right, we got Rock and Rescue, are you ready? I'm like, yes, like I got this.
I love it. Well, and it's true too, because I mean, it's good that you have the Zoom, or even things like this. I mean, this is great for being able to reach a very large audience. But ultimately, I feel like the ultimate connection is that togetherness, being in the same space and all working towards a greater good, a greater cause. And whether that's doing a lot of drinking and giving money to charity, or it goes hand in hand, it's all good.
Yeah,
So,
right.
and it was a blast. So, well, again, Andrea, thank you so much for jumping on. And for everyone that is tuning in, we'll see you same time, same channel next week. Thank you again, Andrea.
Thanks, Matt.
See ya, guys.